Meow meow. ONYX the Fortuitous here. Just want to let y'all know, my movie, ONYX the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls, it's better than Avatar 2. Yeah, actually everybody has said that, even James Cameron himself. And it's about me going to this crazy mansion with a bunch of spooky monsters and this evil cult leader named Bartok. So yeah, Bartok's a lot cooler than that kid Spider from Avatar 2, Way of Water. Anyway, see my film. Meow meow.
Andrew Belzer, director of ONYX the Fortuitous and the
Talisman of Souls.
the longest title known to man.
Yeah.
Delighted to have you at FRIGHTFest. You've just flown in from Sundance.
Yeah.
You just had the premiere in Sundance.
Yeah.
How was Sundance?
It was amazing. I mean, it was everything I had kind of dreamt about as a filmmaker, hoping to have a film there one day, and then some. I mean, there was multiple moments over the course of those 10 days that just felt completely surreal.
Tell us a bit about your background.
Well, so I actually grew up as a child actor in Washington, D.C. So that was my beginning, was acting and doing regional theater and then touring company of The Secret Garden when it left Broadway and all of these things. And I thought that would be my way in to the industry. But at a certain point, I didn't like the lack of control that, actors experience. I remember going into auditions with my sides prepared and the casting director saying, "Oh, no, you didn't get the new sides? That's not what we're doing today. We're doing this." And then I'm thrown into a situation where I have to do a cold reading. And I didn't know that fear would lead me to directing. I thought it would lead me to quit acting. But I started writing and directing in high school and found that control and actually found that I kind of flourished better in that space when I had eyes on something from tops to tails. And I started directing, went to film school, started doing music videos, moved to LA, doing short films and editing for casting departments for reality TV.
Sure.
And then making my own comedy videos was kind of born out of that. Watching some of the personalities I would see come in to audition for reality television, I started doing my own characters, and then ONYX was born.
When I saw the film,
Yeah.
I loved it, but I had no idea of the background of this character, which is huge, isn't it? It's really... Take us through that.
Well, the first ONYX video I did was 2012, and I basically filmed a video package at E3, a video game convention in LA, and I filmed the entire thing. I had a friend of mine pretend to host the video. We interviewed real people that were at the convention, but then I had scripted moments as ONYX, as if he were just a man on the street. And I put it on the internet and foolishly thought, this is going to go viral because people are going to think it's real. But it just sat with no views for a year. And then a year later, somebody posted it to Reddit and it blew up. And then I thought, well, I got to do another one of these. And so I spliced myself into a newscast from a satanic temple in Detroit. And I filmed ONYX out on the street in Burbank. And so they spliced it in with the Detroit news video and it looked pretty seamless. And then that went viral. And I remember I had a coworker at the time who knew I was prepping to make a third ONYX video. And he said, well, lightning can't strike twice. And I was like, well, it did strike twice. We're making a third video. He's like, well, it's not going to strike 3 times. And anyway, that video went viral. And the next one. And I started just making these every other month or so. And they were passed around the internet. And it encouraged me to pursue the character in a more narrative context. Because I thought, well, he's a viral video. He's a meme. That's fun for the internet. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a storyteller. So my intentions were always to kind of bring ONYX into a larger narrative environment. But it took some time. I did a web series with him while I was at a place called Nerdist. And that's when I really started to explore his interior life and who his friends might be and what his dreams might be. And the film is then even a bigger exploration.
I was going to say, at what point did you then realise this character could develop into a feature film?
I think it was when I was writing the web series, and it was episode 3. And I thought I was maybe, out of tricks. I thought, oh, man, he said all of his catchphrases. He's done all his weird expressions. And a buddy of mine named Ryan, who plays ONYX's stepdad, I think just offhandedly said to me while we were filming the web series, he said, you got to let your character win at some point. And I was like, what? Because he's kind of, a punching bag.
Yeah.
And he said, you got to let him win. People love him. He's the underdog. But, let's get him to a place where maybe he's having a victory or two in his life.
And what a great cast. Barbara Crampton,
Yeah.
who is the FrightFest goddess,
She
unimpeachable
is, yeah,
goddess.
yeah.
She's great in the film.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Combs, of course, from Reanimation and stuff like
gosh.
that. What a dream genre cast.
Well, Barbara, I knew I wanted Barbara involved from the get-go, because I think for a lot of filmmakers, and I hope this doesn't sound reductive because it means a great deal, she's kind of a lucky charm. She's so supportive and such a bright spot that you want her there. You want her close. She's such a cheerleader for genre. So I knew I wanted her in the film somewhere. I don't think I initially thought about her playing Onyx's mother, which is who she plays. But now I realize, oh yeah, it was always in there somewhere. And so having her in the scenes where Onyx is at home was a dream come true. She's the one that actually suggested Jeffrey. And I'm such a huge Jeffrey Combs fan. And the tone that the Stuart Gordon films take are like a space that I want to occupy. They're emotional but absurd, and each performance just gets to run this, long, wide spectrum of emotionality. So when she said, "Where are you with your Bartok?" And I said, "Well, we're still casting. We haven't found anyone." She said, "Have you thought about Jeffrey?" And as soon as I pictured him with a shaved head and a goatee and an eye patch, I thought, oh my God, of course, that's perfect. And he would be that right blend of unhinged but still menacing. But he's played a lot of underdogs and misunderstood figures, so he might feel kind of connected to Onyx. And then he came in and, absolutely destroyed it.
Wow.
The first day filming with him, I felt like I was on the set of a Stuart Gordon movie. And he was a blast to shoot and a blast to edit his performance.
You world premiered the picture in Sundance. This is the international premiere. So this is really you launching both yourself and the character to the wider, not the wider audience, but the international audience. So are you going to do another Onyx picture, or are you going to, so obviously again wearing the two caps, you've got the director cap, you've got the actor cap. Would you like to direct something non-Onyx, or are we looking at Onyx 2?
I've been looking at Onyx 2 since I wrote the first one. So that's definitely, hopefully, in my future, if people respond well to this film. And I've actually already written half of it. I got to page 45 prior to leaving for Sundance, because I was just so encouraged and inspired from that acceptance. I thought, let me just knock out the sequel. And I had all these ideas on my notes app, and they were just pouring out. And it's, I think, hilarious, but even darker and kind of sharper. It's like one of those sequels that might feel like the Mario 2 to Super Mario Brothers.
Sure.
Where it's like, wow, what a weird
And also all the
turn.
stuff, it's a learning curve as well, isn't it? All the stuff you did wrong in your mind for the first one, you'll kind of repair.
Oh, yeah. And even with the creatures, I know Adam's skill set, I know our makeup department's skill set, so I'm kind of dialing in all of that. But I do have 2 other scripts that I had written prior to the Onyx film that I think are in pretty good shape, and I've been rewriting those. And I think one of those would go first. Fingers crossed.
Are they genre, and are they in the comedic vein again, or are you going to go darker?
They're darker. They are. There's levity in both of them. There's humor, but Onyx's tone is just so decidedly zany, and I think putting him in the narrative context, it requires everything around him to kind of meet that zaniness for him to make sense, for him to feel congruent in that world. Whereas the other scripts I've written, they have humor, but nothing is trying to meet, the height or the kind of surrealist absurdism of Onyx. So they're darker, they're still funny, but they're much gorier. And I would not be in them.
This sounds great. Well, make them for us for next year or whatever.
Yes, I will.
You've been an amazing guest all weekend. Thank you so much for coming to FrightFest.
Thank you.